Welcome back to the Praying and Slaying podcast, a Light the Fire Outdoors production. On this episode, Aaron and Chris pick up where they left off, and Chris shares a story about how his first hunting experience almost got him out of hunting completely. The fellows cover some good safety information, how older brothers are just better salesmen, and they also go beatboxing with a herd of sheep in Wyoming. With that, let's jump into Chris's story. Well, not kind of. You got turned off from hunting, like basically totally. Like sold your shotgun, said I'm done with it. Like, so walk me through that. Like I've been through it, but I walked the people through, so like I understand like where your mentality shifted from, hey, I want to be a part of deer camp, to this isn't for me.
Well, it's kind of the self-preservation aspect. It's like, yeah, being part of deer camp is fun, but do I want to have 4 holes in my body the next draw we do? And so that's what killed it for me. And really quickly, like I damn near sold my shotgun before we even got back to Earlham to Royster. So no, kind of like you laid out before. Like the group had, rules. The group was a long-standing group that did it, and they had a structure and they had rules, and those rules were put in place for like fairly, I would say, good reason, being responsible hunters. And they were always followed. And then luckily I can't remember names, so I'm not blasting people, even though they tried to blast me. It came down to the last day. It was my last draw. I can't remember if it was gonna be the group's last draw or whatnot. So it was in the afternoon, and I was pushing and he was posted up, and I was pushing through like a brush portion in the middle of a cornfield that had a creek going through it. And I mean, it was October, November at that time.
December.
Oh, really?
First weekend of December, yeah. First shotgun season. Yep.
Anyways, I knew it was late in the year and it was cold.
Yeah. Yep.
And so the creek bed is completely dry, and it was like a meandering creek bed, just kind of went through the stuff. And I got to it, and it was almost like a half pipe, like almost like a perfect U. And so I'm like looking at it and I'm like, all right, like I don't want to go clear back across and like get back. So I'm trying to find like a semi not steep thing, or just like thinking like how would I like get through it. And I'm completely covered by like kind of dryish, like dead trees, whatever. But I know I'm also not that far from the end of the push. So that's why I don't want to backtrack. And so I make the mistake of like kind of getting too close to the edge, trying to see if there's like just like I can hop down type deal. Because it was maybe like 8-10 feet, like a U. It wasn't massive. And the ground just kind of gave out from under me, just kind of like crumpled there because I was too close to the edge. And so I just ended up like sliding down on my butt and my back down the bottom of the creek bed. Well, for lack of a better term, numbnuts, who was posted up there, just started shooting at sound. So he started popping off shots. And there was like a tree that I was initially holding on to, and I was leaning over, like a small tree. It wasn't like a massive one. I was just like holding on to the branches. I was looking at first before I slid, thinking that I could hold myself, and obviously didn't work. But I just remember branches of that like falling on me and stuff. And so I heard him pop off 4 shots, and then it paused, and I'm like, in my mind, I was like, he must only have 4 shots. He's reloading. I just took off running to get out of there. And because it wasn't like stupidly close. Like I'm not trying to make it overly dramatic for what it is. Like it's not a grand ideal to be in anyways, but like I didn't think like this is where I die. Like I was just sitting there like, this isn't like, what the hell is happening? Like, who's this stupid? Like, why is someone doing this? And like, I knew it was close enough to me that I just need to stay down. But like in my mind, I was safe being in the creek bed. But then when I get out of the creek bed, I think I kept jogging through the rest. I don't think I just like started casually walking. I think I was like, I got up out of it and just kept jogging through the brush part until I got into the cornfield part of it, like right before, maybe like 100, 200 yards before the road. Mm-hmm. And I could see the trucks posted there. I could see the orange. Then I remember starting to walk because I was like, okay, like, whatever, I can see everything. And a deer comes up out of the ditch by where he had parked the truck on the side of the road. And so I remember I like raised up because it was like off to the side a little bit. And I thought I was going to run away from him. And then it cut back. And so like I would raise up and was following it. And I started to come back and I see the orange of him off to the side. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I just dropped my gun and I keep walking, because I'm assuming he's doing the same thing. And then he just starts popping off shots with that deer between me and him. And that was stupidly close. That scared the shit out of me. I thought I might die here. like, because I was hearing the zzz, 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 and seeing the dirt go in the cornfield in front of me and stuff. And I just started screaming. I started cussing, all this type of stuff, thinking people were going to back me up. I was like, this is incredibly stupid. This shouldn't happen at all. This shouldn't happen once, let alone twice in maybe 10 minutes. And I thought dad was going to be even madder than I was. Like, my son got shot at twice in a day, and no, I was told to calm down. That stuff happens and stuff. So I was like, you know what? This isn't worth my life. None of this is worth my life. And no one else seems to care about it. I was like, I'm done. I'm never coming back. This is stupid. Like, and then when I decided that, I was like, well, I don't need the shotgun anymore. Like, I don't have another group to go hunting with. So why do I just have, I was a high schooler at the time. I spent a couple $100 on a shotgun. That was a lot of money to me.
Yeah.
So sure. I was like, I don't just need to sit in the closet collecting dust. So texted Jake and asked him, like, hey, like, I know you were looking at shotguns and asked me about mine, and I bought it. Like, are you still interested? Because I'm not anymore. And he bought it from me. I think the next day he worked at the hardware store with me, and stuff. And yeah, I was just done with it after that point, and just left a really kind of bad taste in my mouth. Where, like, I remember telling you after that, like, it wasn't about hunting. It didn't leave like a bad taste in my mouth about hunting. It was just that kind of like strategy, if you call it that, or that layout of hunting, like the kind of push and post type thing. And so that's why I just said it. I was like, you know, if I ever, you know, got back into it and had the time and money to invest in it, you know, to like get a nice bow and a tree stand or something where I'm out there by myself, or to get like a rifle for the same type of situation where I'm out there with myself or like one other person, I was like, I'd do it. Like, because it didn't, like I said, it didn't burn me on the sport, if you will, or whatever. It was just like that setup. It just showed me the flaws of it, to where I was just like, this isn't worth dying over, you know? Definitely. And that day just put that reality in my head of like, oh yeah, when people are stupid, people can get, you know, seriously injured. And I am not looking to be that statistic.
Oh, 100%, man.
So
I remember I was in the same push group. So I didn't know about, so even to this day, that was news to me. I didn't know about the, because I remember I was in that wood line because I remember seeing you just hauling balls by me. And I'm like, Chris, where are you going? Like, what are you doing? And you're like, and then you, like you said, you were spouting off everything you could think to say under the sun. I'm like, what the hell happened? Like, I was like, holy smokes, man. But I didn't know what had happened apparently behind where I was at, because that would have been before maybe you caught up with me.
Yeah, because I paused for a long time when I hit that creek bed, because I was just like, there's got to be a way, yada, yada, and stuff. And so I knew I fell back, which is, you know, partially my fault.
Well, you're still wearing bright orange.
Assuming stuff's going through that kid's head, he may have thought like, hey, I can see them up here. There's something moving back there. But it's still stupid to shoot a sound. Like, you don't shoot a sound. So, I mean, not trying to defend the guy, but like,
no, and for sure.
I don't think he has that kind of an elaborate thought process. So I shouldn't have given him that much credit, but maybe that was what he justified it as. I don't know. But
no, that's crazy, man. Because like I remember you basically marching past me, but it wasn't like the order of the drive at all. Like, you were outside at that point in my mind, even of what I thought was supposed to be going on. You were like doing something totally different. I'm like, whoa, hold on. And you were just
trying to survive,
gun slung over your shoulder, marching to the truck, dude, screw this, I'm out of here. And I was like, what the hell? And but so for me, like, I remember you talking about and so this is a common reaction, I think. And this, again, it's not defending that someone made a dumb decision to shoot towards somebody else, or definitely make a close call even, which is also stupid because it's a deer's life versus a human's life. But like in the shotgun world of shotgunning Iowa, I bet you I think things are progressing more now to more and more private property being tied up to leases and stuff. So I think a lot of it's turning more into like tree stand style. They still have the old style pushes, but like more and more of it is going into like solitary. While people are pushing deer, guys are setting up, being smart about it, saying, I'm going to let them push the deer to me on my property. And so it's a little different now, but when there was always groups of stuff, and in our groups still, I remember the first couple years of hunting even, or even when I was not carrying a gun, I was hunting with dad one time, and you can hear a shotgun slug if you hit a fence, or if you hit a ground, or you hit some treetops and that slug starts tumbling, like you can hear them from a long ways off. So when you describe the situation, I even remember still kind of thinking like, well, yeah, dude, but like you can hear, like if he was hitting something way above you, like 100 feet above you, like you can hear that slug tumbling. Like,
I could hear it hitting the tree and stuff. And that's what I'm saying. Like, but it wasn't. And maybe there's a difference in being a slug versus being like just like a bullet, like the 44 Magnum was. Because I could hear it, but like it was duller. if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
It
for
wasn't,
sure.
it
You
had
could
the
hear the
same
wind
pitch.
whipping more than the.
Yeah. And so in my mind, that's why I said I didn't want to over dramatize it. Is like, I don't think he wasn't getting as close to me. I know that for a fact, 'cause he was hitting that tree and dropping branches on me, and that tree was probably 10 feet above me or so. But
Well, I
as it
was actually
was
talking
when,
about the revolver situation, not even that
oh no, the
situation.
revolver situation, that was like high pitch. They're not
Yeah,
high pitch,
that's
but
what I meant. Like you could, it
it
sounded like you
was
could
like,
hear the wind whipping behind the. Yeah.
yeah, and stuff, and you could see
Yeah.
because I mean it was post harvest, so it's just dry corn stalks and dirt
Yeah.
out there,
Yeah.
so you could see where it was hitting and stuff, and kicking off and zipping off and going by, and
Yeah.
it was like a friggin' cheap like war movie type setup looking thing.
The
But
old kid down the street where we used to make those movies, and he'd set up 2x4s with dirt on the end of them, so you had to run and stomp on the 2x4s to make the bullet dirt fly.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, what I was saying with that is like, so when someone hears that, and again, not defending anybody, because that's for sure a scary situation. Even hearing you tell it now, it's like, gosh damn, like you don't want anybody to go through that scenario ever and be that close to anybody being just stupid as a hunter. But with generically, when you hear like, oh, I heard the bullets whizzing, it's like, okay, but like everybody in that camp has heard that before. So it's like, okay, what is this? Like you said, when you can see dirt flying around you, that's a bad situation. When you hear a slug whizzing over your head, it's like, okay, that could be 300 feet away, and you just, you know what I mean? Like you just hear it.
Mm-hmm.
But so again, so I imagine when you probably said that, people, that's probably where you got more of like the calm down, man, that happens, it's okay. Like, you know, probably trying to just more on, that's part of it. You're safe, but it's part of it. But, and then on the flip side, you know, you get a guy with a shotgun that's got a 20-inch barrel, 18-inch barrel, whatever, shooting from however far the poster was away towards a deer that's kind of in your direction. That gun's going to have a hell of a lot more opportunity to send that slug towards that deer versus at best 8-inch revolver barrel. He might be pointing at the deer, but if he flinches half an inch, that could throw that bullet in your direction 5 feet, you know? So that could be, I mean, I imagine a lot of it, because I don't know, there's a lot more variance with a pistol, which is scarier because that's where dangerous situations can happen. So if a guy's used to throwing a shotgun slug, you know, I'm past this guy now, that deer's 20 yards away. Well, that 20 yards can get cut dramatically with a pistol shot versus a shotgun shot.
I think I was a little further in this, but just to make math easy, like if he was 100 yards from me, like there's like a direct line between us, 100 yards, it was probably 30 yards from him, like 70 from me, or somewhere in that gap.
I got you.
But when I like, because he was at the road, and it was flat. It wasn't a hilly thing. It was a very flat.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Portion, but he was like leaning against the truck or whatever, there in the roadway, and it was just in the ditch, like further down the ditch line than him. And so I'm not sure if I spooked it or what spooked it, because I wasn't expecting it. I thought, I can see the road end, this thing's done, nothing's gonna happen. And so when it popped up, and it ran a little bit towards us, and then I think it saw us, and so it cut back the other way. And that's, like I said, when I like raised up, because I was like, oh, it's going away, you know, from anybody, like I might get a shot here. But then it like did like a U and came back between us, and I lowered my gun when I could see him out of the side of my eye. It wasn't like I waited until it got like lined up and lowered my gun and kept walking.
Yeah,
I saw him out of the side of my eye, and I dropped my gun, and I took maybe 2 or 3 steps was all before he started popping off shots. So at best, it was just past me.
That's
and
good
he tried to rationalize that in his head of like, oh, I can see him. It was right here, like lined up with him. Now it's right here. I'm gonna start shooting. Or he just was blind as all hell and didn't see orange and orange and orange and orange. And just like, I see a deer. Boom, 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 boom. And yeah, like you said, like he was carrying a revolver trying to shoot a moving target at maybe at best like 30 yards away from him.
Yeah.
And it's just unloading, like not like stupidly rapid fire because it's a revolver. It's not like a click, 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 click. It's like a, you know, whatever. But I mean, he still emptied the thing.
Yeah.
In the time it took me to learn how to dance. So I mean, it was stupid.
For sure,
on all accounts. And yeah, and I remember trying to explain that to Dad, but that pissed me off more. Like I think it wouldn't have burnt me off on deer camp. Like I think I still would have came back the next year had there been a serious discussion about it. But the fact that I was told to calm down is what really pissed me off. No one talked to him and said like, are you stupid? Like, why, what were you thinking? Like anything like that? No, it was like, you're good, man. Like, Chris, calm down. And I was like, I almost died out here. Like, not to throw a whole victim kind of mentality with it, but it was like, had he been a couple inches either way, we'd be calling an ambulance right now and hoping for the best.
100%
and stuff. And so when I saw it get brushed off that lightly and stuff, and not literally laughed at, but almost felt that way to me, whereas it's like, like he's overreacting, like whatever. I was like, no, this is stupid. Like there's no reason to be here.
When you can see the bullets hitting, that's 100% different than just, again, shotguns. Slugs they're a 300 plus grain chunk of lead. If it starts tumbling in the air, you can just hear it. It's a giant piece flying through the air. It cuts air. It makes noise. But like if you can see, you can see dirt flying around you. That's not a good situation at all. No, that's a good point, because I mean it was just I guess in my head the way I'd picture. I remember you marching by. I remember saying something to you like, dude, what are you doing? Because part of me was like, dude, don't get out of line, for the same reasons you already said. Is like you have a formation for a reason. Stick with it, because everybody's supposed to know where you're at. Number two is like, what's going on? Like, why are you marching down the road? But I remember there was someone else posted up higher. That's why I said it was like downhill, because in my head, even now I'm learning more, because I thought from the story, hearing it other times, was that the guy was, whoever was posted up the hill from you, that was kind of would have been shooting down into the timber where we were, which would have been a downhill deal. But I didn't realize it was from the roadway, which is a whole different situation.
Because to the left of me is where Nick was. He was posted up on, like, Iowa is just a bunch of squares and rectangles. So he was on, like, let's say the way we were walking was north. I think it was actually east, but screw it, let's say it was north. Just to make things easy. Right. Yeah. He was to the left of us. So let's say it's just east things. I thought that too, but okay. So he was to the north, either at the corner, or he was on closer to the corner of the plot, whatever we're going to call it, up there. And so it sloped uphill. It kind of came down into like a valley,
like a bowl kind of,
yeah. And so he was uphill off to that side. I was still on the flat portion, walking that way. Sorry, I haven't drank so much carbonated stuff in a while. I'm just burping.
This portion of the episode is brought to you by Blue Moon.
Yeah. Light sky, only 95 calories. But anyways, yeah, so I was on a pretty flat portion, and I get what you're saying. Like I know, I mean, obviously, like, taught that and stuff, that you stick in a line. It's one, everyone knows where everyone's at. Two, it makes more sense of like you're trying to clear the area you're walking through. You don't want like one person up here, one person back here, and then if you scare a deer, it just zigzags through you guys. Like, you want to push, uniformly. But by that point, I was just like, I'm not waiting for him to reload. Right. I was like, if this kid is stupid enough to shoot at sound, I was like, I'm going to make a lot of sound getting out of here. I'm going to get out of here as fast as I can.
What's up, guys? It's Aaron coming at you with a break from the podcast here to remind you to go over and check out lightthefireoutdoors.com. And today I want to just make sure I call out specifically the Blackhound Optics 4-14 by 44 first focal plane mill scope. And that's actually the scope that I was using on my new 6.5 PRC on this hunt, as well as the gun that I took down with my brother to Wyoming on a hunt you're going to hear about here in a next follow-on episode podcast. But man, these Blackhound Optics, I can't say enough about them. The price point, first and foremost, is absolutely phenomenal. You get way more than what you pay for with these scopes. Second, the glass quality is amazing. I've been able to see, during bear season, I was out filming deer across the canyon at last light in dark timber at like 700-800 yards, and you could just totally make them out. Awesome glass clarity, tons of light transmission there, and they allow for easy follow-up shots. First year getting into the mill scopes from MOA, and I absolutely love it. The reticle makes it super easy for holdovers. My brother and I made some pretty cool long shots you're going to hear about on the next podcast. And so if you are in the market for a rifle scope, consider supporting Light the Fire Outdoors and the Praying and Slaying podcast by getting yours from us at lightthefireoutdoors.com. At the shop, check out all of the Blackhound Optics we have to offer. And like I said, they make a great scope, great price point, and you're supporting veterans, conservation, and ministry outreach here at Light the Fire Outdoors by getting yours from us. So let's get back to this hunt. and hear more about how I used my Blackhound Optic 4 to 14 by 44 to finish up this hunt.
Like I said, it was like after I broke the tree line that I kind of was like, okay, everything's good now. You know, I'm very visible. Everything's great. And it was great for maybe the next 30 seconds. And then, you know, it all erupted again. And it's just like, no, too stupid. I honestly, I think I could have written off the first one. I just would have said something about like, if he's posting, I'm not pushing, something like that, you know. But yeah, the second one, I think with it being an adult, a very seasoned hunter, stuff like that, and still doing that just made me lose like a lot of faith in the process.
Sure. You definitely would. So. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know how many years I guess I went before you went, but enough, a handful. I'd never been in a situation like that. I've been in situations where you hear a bullet maybe hitting a treetop above you somewhere, but you're way down in the bottom and, you know, whatever, but like nothing even close to that. So it's like, that's even a surprising, it's a one-off situation, but it's a totally bad experience for, a guy going his first year carrying his gun. You know, you've earned the right to be there basically, and then have it get spoiled by someone who maybe jumped the chain, didn't learn right. And then a back-to-back scenario of that's just totally crazy. And so like, I wanted to tell that story, number one, because like part of me was like wanting to get you on a hunt was like, I don't know, half of me was like, wondering if you're halfway interested, you know, because that's a situation, maybe you just be done with hunting or whatever. But like, at the same time, it's like, part of me also felt like it was probably a product of the situation, like you already said. And most hunting situations, like I do a ton of hunting on my own now, like it's literally just basically me that goes out. Jess likes to hunt sometimes, so we get her out a handful of times a year, and all my buddies that I've been hunting with up here all deployed. So it's just like, for me, hunting's a totally different dynamic than ever anymore. Iowa shotgun deer hunting, where you're pushing, there's a lot of people with guns, a lot of deer moving, people shooting at moving targets. It's just like, so, you know, that situation is a lot less controlled, I guess, than what I had pictured kind of in my mind. If we said, hey, okay, let's try to plan something that if you want to go, let's do something where you can kind of set up, take your time, make your shots, and it's a way more controlled situation, which is kind of what Wyoming I was hoping for. But I still don't even think we got that. Like, I was actually a little disappointed I was jacked out of my mind when you said, yeah, dude, let's do it. I didn't think I was gonna be able to talk you into applying for tags, but you did. And I was like, I was praying we'd draw. But at the same time, like, I didn't know how you felt. So I was like, I wonder if he's gonna be just as happy if we don't draw as if we do draw, or maybe one way or another.
Well, all right.
Back it up.
I don't know if you straight up did this or if you were misremembering, but I feel like I was brought into the tag drawing process anyways, under false pretenses. Cause I remember saying like, hey man, I can't remember if I said I was like good for it, just not whatever, but like fully sold or how I worded it. But essentially I remember mentioning of like, it seems like it'd be very expensive, like a lot of money, you know, between the traveling, like if I had to buy my own gun, which I didn't have to, which is good, but like, then getting a tag, especially out of state licenses and tags and whatever, yada yada. I was like, this sounds like it's going to be like really expensive. And I remember you telling me, I don't remember the exact number. I just remember it was $100 something. So I knew it wasn't 200. It wasn't under 100. It was somewhere in the range of $100 something.
I don't want to shoot myself in the foot on this, but I'm going to tell you, I probably told you it was $60.50.
Yeah, for one of the things. And then you said it was like only like however much more to get the other thing or whatever. And so it should only be like $100 something, and which was a lot cheaper than I thought it was going to be. Because like growing up in Iowa, I knew like out of state tags, license and stuff can get really expensive.
Yeah.
And whatnot. And so I was like, okay, well, that's a lot cheaper. I thought you were going to say like a few $100s at least. And so I like at work, I looked at like what I had for vacation to make sure I could still do the Christmas stuff and then whatever. And I was like, okay, I could, it'd be pushing a bit, but like I could make it work, you know? And then you're like, okay, well, like the thing opens this day, like you need to make sure you get on and like apply, and here's the group number or whatever type thing. And, you know, maybe we'll get drawn. And then when I check out, because I don't remember seeing prices and anything, a little process of when I was picking, it was like, okay, we need a credit card number, we need yada, yada, you know, stuff. It won't be charged unless you get drawn, whatever. And I was like, oh, that's kind of neat, whatever. They don't just put a hold in your card. Well, then when I check out, it's like, yeah, it was like 300 and something, whatever dollars. But it's like, but don't worry, you won't be charged unless you get drawn. So I remember there were a few days there where I was like, I really, really hope we don't get drawn. I was like, it'd be nice to just get that money back. And stuff. And then sure as shit, you text me like, we got drawn. And I was like, damn.
Also, in my defense,
this many dollars, it's like more poor now.
For sure. Well, okay. So my first experience in Wyoming antelope hunting. So I live in Montana right now, so I can apply for the antelope draw in Montana. It's, I don't know, $20 or something for an antelope tag up here. But I had a buddy that lived up here that did some stuff with Tacticam with me, and him and a bunch of his buddies from like Indiana or something apply in Wyoming every year. So the first year I moved here, he goes, dude, you should apply in Wyoming with us. It's like super cheap. You know, it's like $60 for an antelope tag if you want one. I was like, well, damn, that's insane. As a non-resident, same thought process as you. Well, that's for your doe tag. So your doe tag, unless it, then again, prices change every year. So always check your eggs and whatever else if you're looking to do this. But for Wyoming, they're pretty generous with their non-resident antelope tag. So they just have an absolute buttload of antelope in that state. So they're never in a shortage of them. But your doe tag is like $50, and then your conservation stamp, which is basically the hunting license you have to have in your pocket, is $12.50. So for $62.50, you can go on an antelope hunt in Wyoming. So it was like a dream come true to me when I first heard that. I was like, dude, that's so awesome. We put in as a group. I got drawn, got my antelope tag, went down, shot an antelope. So for Chris, I'm sure, being the salesman I am now, because I've since transferred into sales for Tacticam, but like either way, it was like, okay, dude, for $62.50, you can go on this antelope hunt. But so a buck tag though, so the buddy, and this is the first year I've ever applied for a buck tag in Wyoming. I applied last year just for the hell of it, I think, and I didn't get drawn because I applied by myself. But so I had 1 point built up. So anyway, but I put in for a doe tag again in Wyoming because I don't need a buck necessarily. I can maybe draw that in Montana, but for $50 or $60, I'll drive down to Wyoming and shoot an antelope because they're absolutely delicious. So anyway, I've never applied for a buck tag until this year. Well, I used the wisdom of the guy who told me about the very first antelope hunt we went on. And I swear the guy told me it was like $150 or something. And this must have been whenever 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, whatever he was hunting bucks in there. He said it was like $150 for a buck tag. And then you can buy your antelope doe tags on top of that if you draw your buck or something like that. This is what I remember. So when I told you that, I was using bad information because it shocked me when I applied. And I'm like, well, screw it. If Chris is going, I'll put in for a buck tag too. Why not? And then I got hit with that same bill. So I spent $400 and some on antelope tags for Wyoming.
Well, and I didn't even know you could put in for multiple. Like when I was doing it, kind of going through the system and stuff, I was just clicking on things that made sense or sounded like what you were talking about. And so when I put in and you messaged me that same night or the next day, like, what'd you put in for everything or just the buck tag? And I was like, wait, I could have done more. Like I didn't even know, but like it already got the sticker, shock there. So I was like, okay, maybe it's good I didn't, because I don't know if it would have been like, yeah, for $980 you can three whatever or something, right? Like, thanks for your purchase, like we'll charge you later, or what. But
right.
Like, so like when you said that, I to be fair, I don't even know if I could have, gone back in after the fact and put in for anything else with it being a lottery system. But
I think you can. I don't know. Yeah. Don't quote me on it, but I
was like, for that reason, I wasn't looking to find out either, because I was like, I honestly don't know. I don't know what money is.
It didn't matter. The damage was done.
It was exactly. I was just like, I already burnt down like the shed in the backyard. I don't want to torch the house. I don't know. And so kind of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there was a buildup, and I remember you texted me like, hey, the draw this week. I was like, dear God, like, so I didn't want to go, but I was just like, this is more money than I thought. And like, I think that was right when I bought my rims and tires for the part. So I'd spent just a ton of money in that month. Where I was just like, a couple $100 not having to worry about would have been nice. And you're like, we got it. I was like, I'm poor.
I'm poor man.
Like,
I'm glad
back in the savings mode. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because ramen will only get me so far from here on out.
Oh, for sure. But no, it was cool though. I mean, so like now that we know, if you ever want to go again, well, and for where we'll get with this story, I don't know that we needed buck tags necessarily, but either way, it worked out. Like, it was kind of cool to just see it happen that, hey, the first year dad couldn't go, he couldn't apply because he semi-retired. He's working now with my mom. Actually, they run an in-home decor together now, so obviously his vacation was out the window. But either way, Chris and I were on the road to Wyoming, damn near $1,000 combined deep in antelope tags. And so what, we picked you up from Bozeman. You didn't have your jacket on, but it had just snowed, so we finally got like a wave of cold weather. It hadn't even been bad until then, but Wyoming was like really cold.
Yeah, that's where I knew I messed up, is when I was still on the plane, because I can't sleep on planes. I was looking out the window and stuff, and about the time we got through Wyoming and stuff, you started seeing mountains, I just kept seeing snow. And I was like, I was not planning on that. Like, I brought a lot of the like under kind of like, not Under Armour, but that type of material stuff, whatever, that I have
Long John stuff
and stuff like that. But I mean, like I said, I brought this little jacket, and I brought my Gore-Tex, and my thinking at the time of packing was just like, I'm overpacking. But I was like, absolute worst case scenario, I've got this in the trunk. Not that it's necessarily all that warm. I mean, it's it's a hell of a windbreaker.
Keeps the wind off you and keeps your heat in.
But yeah, I was like, it'll be good if it rains or if it's waterproof, you know. And then I saw that. It's just like, this is gonna suck. This is gonna suck so bad. It's gonna be high altitude. I'm almost sea level down here. Right. I'm gonna be no oxygen, hiking. I don't do cardio and stuff, and it's gonna be cold air on top of that. My lungs are gonna be burning like I've smoked a pack a day or more for the last 20 years. I was like, this is gonna blow. So I'm sitting there just like trying to convince you of how to text you that I missed my flight and the trip's canceled. I'm turning around and going back, and then I get out at Bozeman. I was like, this isn't that bad.
The sun's shining.
I still see snow, but like, it's not that bad and whatnot. But yeah, in all fairness, it wasn't that bad. Like I said, I like, it always floors me because I know, like, I am used to this climate by this point.
Yeah.
And it's almost, it floors me in the sense of like, it's almost like a muscle memory thing, where it's like, it's like, I don't walk out and I'm just like that one kid that's at every freaking Midwest college or high school that it's 10 degrees out and it snowed a foot last night, but I'm gonna wear my cargo shorts, my athletic shorts to class, and I'm gonna walk there in flip-flops type deal. Like, I'm not like one of those that's like trying to prove a point of like, I'm so masculine.
Yeah.
But it is weird in a sense of like how quick that comes back to where like, oh yeah, like, it's not the greatest feeling, but like, I'm used to it. Like,
oh yeah.
And stuff. I thought I was just gonna be sitting there kind of like shivering the whole time and just like, you know, trying to remember the last time I updated my will or something, but it wasn't that bad.
So, I bet over the course of the handful of days we were there, I'm taking a shot in the dark here. I didn't record, like, I didn't actually keep track, but I bet you said it close to 50 times how much you miss and enjoy cold weather. Like that I mean, just straight exactly like that, dude. I actually miss this. I miss cold weather. I enjoy cold weather. I like cold weather. Cold weather is my friend.
Because it is soothing. Like, and I've said that even down here to people, and people think I'm, you know, trying that Delta 8 stuff I was talking about or something. Because, like, so many people down here are just like, and not that they've never seen snow. I mean, hell, we had the freaking winter apocalypse last February here last year, which also, to be fair, I didn't.
To be fair,
it sucked because I lost internet. Don't get me wrong. Like, I was stuck at home. And couldn't play video games. That was horrible. But like, it wasn't as bad in the sense of like, yeah, it's cold, but again, I've dealt with cold. But like, I totally get why people down here who never have, especially freezing, like pipes freeze and stuff like that. Like, I get why it was horrible. Like, I'm not trying to downplay it of like, there were no hardships. Like, there were hardships. But like, also at the time of it, like, I was just like, okay, like, this, it's just a little chilly, you know, like, to oversimplify it, I guess. But I can't remember why I was going on this tangent. But it's like, you know, because people down here, when I say that, like, it's like, oh, I miss the cold. Like, when people are like, oh, well, like, I get it, you moved from the Midwest down to Texas, like, I get you're trying to avoid winter. And I was like, I actually think I'm one of the few that wasn't. Because I don't get me wrong, I meet a ton of people down here, especially when I lived in the domain, saw the apartment and stuff, that are from like Wisconsin and Michigan for some reason. I don't know if those colleges just have a lot of tech stuff or what, but I meet a lot of people and like, where are you from? I'm like, oh, I went to Wisconsin, grew up there, and now I'm down here. And yeah, and they're like, oh, I just really, wanted to get away from the winters. I just wanted that warm weather. And I was like, okay, like I get it, not wrong. But like for me, it wasn't that way. It's like I was actually the opposite. It was like I don't miss the duration of winter by any means. Like I don't miss it like snowing for the first time in like mid-October to early November and then being that way until who knows, it might be February, it might be almost June, it might be whenever we figure out we're gonna stop snowing. But I mean definitely like I like the change of pace where you just sweat balls all from like August through September and stuff right up until it decides to start snowing.
Yeah.
And then you get that nice little like, hey, it's cool now. I can wear a hoodie. It's like nice. It's whatever. And it's like soothing. And so yeah, it's like I do miss that. And maybe that made it even better of just getting like a week's worth of it, like a taste of it, and then being like, all right, now I can go retreat back to my summer house here in Austin, Texas. But yeah.
No,
I mean, we'll see this Christmas. I have a feeling Des isn't going to want to leave the house the whole time. She's going to want to because she's like, oh, it's so beautiful up here. And she's going to step outside. Like, I don't know.
I know, but I'm going to be an icicle.
Yeah.
No, it's I just remember that was funny. I just remember driving around, you kept saying that, like just totally random times you'd roll the window down or be looking at something out the window and gosh, the cold is so nice. Like it's so refreshing. But it is. I totally agree with you. I love that. Good. I like even now, as soon as it finally gets that cold snap, once like falls, sometimes up here it gets cold in the fall, but most of the time it kind of tailors off till about now, and then we'll start having consistent cold nights or whatever. But yeah, just going outside and breathing that cold air, it's like a refresh. It's like, oh, that's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
But so we were buzzing. What did we do? We drove down. We had planned. What did we plan? 5 days for this. I picked you up on a Thursday, right? No, I picked you up on
Wednesday.
A Wednesday. Yeah, because we got in a day early. Yeah.
Wednesday or Thursday, yeah.
Wednesday. So we picked him up on a Wednesday. I think we were planning on possibly hunting up until like the next Tuesday's morning. And then
I flew out on Tuesday. So Tuesday evening. Yeah. So yeah, like that I think we had the Airbnb there all the way up until Tuesday.
Like checkout Tuesday.
Yeah, in case we needed it.
So we could hunt Monday. So we had planned opening day was Friday. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But my thought process was kind of push it as much to opening day as you can, because the unit that we hunted wasn't like planning this hunt. I guess it was an easy unit to draw. So I had 1 point. He didn't have any. So technically we worked out. I think you average out your points is how it works for the draw system. So we had a half a point to draw. Oh, yeah. We were going in strong. So
we're loaded.
It was bad. It was a good shot in the dark. So we ended up drawing. But this unit.
Wait, you're saying I was that close to saving hundreds of dollars?
You were that close to just missing this whole paycheck altogether. But so
it hurts.
The unit was like good. It had a lot of public ground, but a lot of the ground you could, publicly hunt was like mountainous or like giant bluffs, which we found out the bluff part later, but a lot of it was mountains. I knew it was mountains by looking at maps. And then you go into the rest of it. It's like you have a few random big blocks of BLM and state ground, but everything's pretty choppy. But I had good insight from a buddy of mine that I work with who could kind of guide me around. He's like, hey man, if you're going to hunt this, I hunt this basically every year. Do it this way. Here's the roads you should travel, how you should travel those roads, hit this spot this time, this spot that time, yada, yada, yada. You'll eventually kill an antelope. So I was like, okay. So what I underestimated, I knew it was a heavily hunted unit. I still underestimated, knowing that, how many friggin' hunters we were going to run into for opening day. So we drive down there Wednesday, just kind of get settled into the cabin. We got there kind of at nighttime, didn't we? Like it was in the dark. I think we were checking in or whatever. So anyway, we get down there at night, kind of just hang out for the evening or whatever. And the next morning, Thursday, is a non-hunting day. So we're going to get up and we're just going to kind of drive around the territory and kind of make a game plan for Friday. And so in doing that, between the 30 times Chris said this cold air is refreshing, we did scout out some different places for hunting. Saw quite a few antelope for the most part, I felt like. Learned to lay of the land a little bit. and Chris pulled an engineering stunt on my spotting scope because we pulled over at this one spot. We spotted some elk and we were going to try to film them. And my spotting scope focus ring had gone bad. So then Chris spent a lot of the time. What the hell did you fix that with? It was super glue that we bought at a convenience
super glue. Store. I took a zip tie off the like one of the bread bags or something we bought off something.
Oh no, it was you pulled the metal out of the noseband off a mask.
Oh yeah, I knew it was zip tie material.
I had masks in my truck.
I was trying to think. I was like, I don't remember us buying bread. I just remember us like rolling up cheese and meat.
There was one good thing that came from COVID, and it was that I had masks in my console of my truck, so we could fix the spotting scope.
So if you ever have a knob on something that breaks off and it has a little notch, and for some reason they decide to take plastic and put it into a metal notch and hope it doesn't ever shear off, which is great engineering. You can take a COVID mask, cut the top off where you crimp the thing around, and it's like a bread tie. You can fold it over a couple times to get some like bulk, put it through that notch, take some super glue, put it all up in that hole, stick it in there, wait a while, wait longer than I thought because it took a couple times to get it actually bond up, and then it worked.
Yeah, and that's a patented fix, by the way. So don't go thinking, you pay Chris $50 a time if you have to ever do that. So anyway, that was
steep, but I'll take it. So
yeah, that was kind of fun. So we're buzzing around looking for antelope. Chris is fixing this spotting scope. This, like you said, it took a lot longer for that glue to dry than we thought, but it also been sitting in my truck in 30-degree temps, so it's probably pretty cold to bond fast. But either way, we end up finding this one decent spot. We glass up a decent group of antelope in there, and we're like, okay, what was there? There was like one tent in one parking lot. Was like it that day, wasn't it? On Thursday, that big BLM piece we hit on the first thing Friday.
Yeah, if I would have seen that in Iowa, I would have thought it was a bit methy, but and there it just seemed kind of lonely.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looked like what could be like a park and ride type situation, and there was just a tent.
Yeah,
and a cooler. But
yeah, so some people had like posted up, established a base camp like right at the road edge of the biggest piece of public basically that was in the entire unit outside of the mountains and stuff for antelope country. But we'd posted up above it that day, glassed it out, found some bucks, found some does, like, okay, there's a decent group of antelope out here, but there was only one tent. Well, everywhere else we went was pretty small. We did find a couple big groups on some pieces, but like the pieces weren't big enough to bank on the antelope like being there the next day. It was just kind of like, oh, we hope they show up again. But we really don't know what they're doing, but there they are. So this piece was big enough. I'm like, and the antelope were basically centrally located that we found in the center of this unit. So I was like, well, maybe they'll live here. Well, we end up going at that point. We're like, okay, we kind of think let's try this spot first. I remember, and then we went to, I think we had to fill up with gas or something at that point. We ended up driving through like a massive sheep, like a tidal wave of sheep on the road. Like you've seen like the Kentucky roadblocks. Well, this was every bit of 500 sheep that were just covering this entire highway, and the farmer just waved us around. So we had a pretty good time with that. Chris had some pretty ballin' music going that was exactly beating with the head bobs of these sheep. So that was pretty funny.
And the Buddha
bumps. So we go to fill up with gas, and then we didn't realize there was actually a Sitka and First Light Gear fashion show going on that we didn't know about. Do you remember that?
The camo?
Yeah.
Or what? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you could tell that everybody and their dog from all the 3 or 4 units that converge there. It's a very popular spot for hunters when they're out of state. Even like last year or the first year I went down there, we stopped at that gas station a couple of times, but we were hunting a different unit. But anyway, it's always, I gave Chris a lesson. I said, it's kind of interesting when you've lived out west long enough, you realize that if a guy is dressed head to toe in one singular pattern of quote unquote Western camouflage, you can almost guarantee they're from out of state. Almost. Not all 100% of the time, but it was kind of interesting to see. But it proved pretty true there. It was a ton of Wisconsin license plates, Indiana. Gosh, what state didn't we see license plates from in that unit? Hawaii. Basically the one state that wasn't land connected, we didn't see license plates from. So anyway, that was like half our day. We spent half our day visiting all these spots that we kind of had some insight on, stop, get some quick snacks, fill up with gas. And we start heading back through the unit to go check out some different stuff. And then we end up coming back in. Well, on the way back, that's when I knew it was going to be like, okay, this isn't going to be I was actually impressed with how little amount of trucks and people we saw for the first half of the day on Thursday. I figured we'd see more driving around scouting, but so like 2 p.m. on, we're basically working our way all the way back to the unit to where the cabin was that we were staying. And that's when all the trucks started to show up. Like every place we drove by, I bet we passed 2 or 3 pickups. Like coming back in on Thursday, the big BLM piece, like we only saw one tent there. Yeah. But coming back
I thought
in,
you were already on the Friday. That was my bad. Yeah.
No. Yeah. So Thursday, anyway, going back to camp, like we figured we had a good plan. But then even on that big BLM piece, we decided, hey, this might be our best option for capturing, first crack at the first antelope on first light of opening day. There was guys out there sighting in their guns. There was trucks driving by every 5 minutes on the way past it. And then every other place we went, there was like truck after truck after truck, Wisconsin, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, Hawaii, Alaska, you name it. They were there. Even some East Coast guys, I was blown away. Unless they rented a car,
some Pennsylvania and stuff like that. Yeah,
that's a long haul, but
yeah.
I mean, hey, it's Western hunting, public ground, draw state for antelope, so good on everybody else. But at that point, my head's turning into, I wanted to get my brother into a situation where him and I can basically go up, post up, find an antelope a ways off, sneak in on it. It's just him and me out there. Calculate the shot, take a shot. And now I'm like starting to see all these trucks. And so my head's spinning the other direction of like, gosh damn it, we're going to have to like, hopefully not get ourselves in a situation like what I assumed. Like, I just thought it was like about the Iowa thing. I didn't know if it was like a high pressure deal or what. You have a lot more open space out here. It's not like you're pushing a tight drive with 15 people shooting down into the same river bottom you're pushing, but either way, I was trying to avoid that altogether, like completely. So in my head, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a little bit different than what I was hoping for. But either way, we went back to the cabin, got a good night's sleep, and got up pretty early the next morning. And I was like, well, our best bet is that BLM. Thanks very much for tuning into episode 2 of this 3-part series again this week, guys. Again, just a lot of fun having my brother here and kind of cool getting to gather some more details about, a scary experience that he went through during an Iowa shotgun season, his very first hunt ever. And just like the, entry to this episode said, it was almost the last hunt he went on. And thank God it was because he got pissed off at a situation that happened that should have never happened and not, something way more disastrous. And we're very thankful for that. Definitely awesome to have him tagging along in Wyoming. We kind of started getting into the story about the Wyoming hunt. So part 3 coming up to you guys next is the story of his first ever successful big game hunt. I had a lot of fun. I think he had a lot of fun too. And you guys are going to get a chance to hear that story. So just today's reflection, guys, get out there, go hunting, but make sure that you are just constantly tuned in, constantly aware to the safety things that you've got to be aware of when you're out hunting. Wear your blaze orange, stay visible, and always, always, always know what you're shooting at and what's beyond or around that target, because just a small mistake, a small miscalculation can turn into something that's totally life-altering, and that's just something that you always have to keep in the back of your mind when you're out there in the woods. So thanks for listening again, guys. Make sure you tune in next week for the story of Chris's first successful Wyoming antelope hunt, and as always, keep praying and slinging.